Hey, it's Sammy and Natalie here, and welcome to the Anxiety Compass, where anxiety isn't the enemy, it's our tour guide. We'll swap stories, share tools, and have a laugh while we find our way back to true north. Come along. Hello. Welcome back. How are you, Nat?
I'm good, Sammy. How are you, my love?
I'm pretty good.
That's
Pretty
good.
good. Today we're going to be talking about a lunchbox love for your nervous system.
Yeah,
We're both nutritionists and we love to eat food that makes us feel good, right?
we
Yeah.
do.
And not just
Absolutely.
like indulgent, delicious things. I mean, things that literally make us energized and focused and less anxious. Do you know, yesterday, Nat, I went out for lunch with my mum and we went to a Thai restaurant and we ordered these green beans and they were so good that they were too good that I believe they were loaded with MSG
Oh
because last
no.
night my brain kept going boom, boom, boom in my sleep, and I'm like, what's going on? And I was thinking about what I did or what I ate, and it was the MSG beans. It would have had to have been.
Oh,
Sometimes things that
shame.
taste amazing, it's too good to be true, right?
That's
Yes,
why
I can't
sometimes
hear
it's
you.
better
Can
to
you?
just make food at home.
We're going to be looking at why food affects the nervous system. A lot of people just when they eat food and they go on a diet, it's either to lose weight or they never really 100% understand why it's important for our mental well-being as well. We become what we eat, well, we become what we absorb, right? What is your go-to favorite food when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and stressed?
Soup, homemade soup. So I
Oh,
usually use a
yum.
smoked ham bone or something,
Yep.
and put in the slow cooker with all of the veggies and legumes and stuff. And I think that's because, Mum used to make that when we were little. So it's nourishing. It's nourishing my gut. It's getting all the nutrients in. It's warming, but it also has that lovely memory of my childhood. In summer, honestly, I'm actually having one today. I love just having a smoothie, or a
Yes.
big bowl of all the, nourishing fruits. So your papaya and blueberries and banana and kiwi fruit. And I have it with Greek yogurt. So I've got that protein. Got the hemp seeds, the chia seeds, lots of different nuts, linseeds, all those things, all the things that when I was first, using food as medicine, when I was dealing with my own anxiety and PTSD, that's what I would eat. And I just found it so nourishing and I felt healthy eating it, knowing what I was putting into my body. So
Putting it
they're
into
probably
your
my
body.
two go-tos. What about
Yeah,
you?
and I'm very much similar to you. I love when I'm overwhelmed and my nervous system's a little bit chaotic. I'm big on doing things that are simple. And so soup is so simple. You can literally just chuck anything. You don't even have to pre-cook it. Like you can chuck it all in a slow cooker
Yep.
and it does it all for you. And you can sort of leave it on the pot warm and just sip at it. And the same with smoothies, like they're so easy to make and you can get so much into them. When I was stressed years ago, my go-to would be to go for whatever I could find in the fridge because it's all about convenience. And some days I do that. And when you have teenage boys and I try not to have too much weird processed food in my house, but even though as a nutritionist, you know something's really not great for you, if you are so stressed, you're going to go for the quickest thing in the house. And quite often that's not the most nutritious thing if you haven't
Yeah.
pre-made or have them all ready to go. And I even find sometimes like I'll have bowls of fruit in the house, but if there's chocolate or there's lollies or something in the house, it's like my brain will bypass these nutritious
Yeah.
things and go for
Yep.
an ice cream.
Yep.
You're not
Yeah.
alone. And eating certain foods can steady the compass, but other foods can make it spin out wildly. And
Mm.
you don't want to be walking around all day with that. It's going to affect your blood sugar levels, which impacts on anxiety. It's going to affect the gut brain axis. Also, sensitivities around foods can trigger anxiety, hormone dysregulation. There's just so many things that we can touch base on here as to why food affects the nervous system and why it's something you should really consider. to look at if you're feeling anxious. Yeah.
Obviously, we've got to be mindful of regulating our blood sugar levels. Because when blood sugar drops rapidly or falls too low, the body actually perceives this as a threat and it actually triggers our stress response in the body. So, our adrenal glands release cortisol and adrenaline to help mobilize the glucose stores. But these are the same hormones that are released during actual stress or perceived danger or actual danger. So, this actually creates a physical sensation that's nearly identical to anxiety. So, you've got your racing heart, you can have some shakiness, some sweating,
Oh, yeah.
difficulty concentrating, that brain fog, or your brain just
Yeah.
spinning out of control, and that jittery on edge feeling that we can experience. So, this pattern that causes the blood sugar roller coaster. So, if you eat high sugar or high refined carb foods without the adequate protein, your fats, and your fibers, the glucose spikes quickly and then crashes.
Goes
And
in
like I
super
said, each
fast.
crash, yeah, it
Yeah.
triggers
And you
another
die
stress
if
hormone
you have
surge.
too much sugar in your blood. You die. I say that to people and they freak out.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like, that's why diabetes is an issue because it's, you're having
exactly.
issues regulating the sugar in your blood.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
good.
No, no.
And your brain wants this constant drip of glucose. It's like a little tap that constantly drips. And if you're
Yes,
just flooding your body with sugar, as we were saying in a previous episode, the insulin stores it all away. It'll
yep,
store, and this is interesting for ladies, and I find their ears prick up when I say this one.
yep,
As the insulin grabs the glucose molecules out of your blood, it quickly stores it in your liver for later. It also
yep.
stores it in your muscles. But if you don't have muscles, ladies, it's going to store as fat. It's going to store
Yeah,
in your fat cells, and it does that to protect you. So
exactly.
it's really
Especially
important to have
that belly
muscle.
fat, that
Yeah.
abdominal fat.
So we also have another reason why it's important to eat nourishing foods is most of the things that make us feel amazing live in our gut. They don't live in our gut, but they're made in our gut. So things like serotonin, we've mentioned this before. And so depending on the quality of food you're putting in can really cause a little bit of inflammation down there, which we see all the time in clinic, don't we, Nat? And that's
We
going to
do.
cause some major mood instability. And I don't know about you, Nat, but when I had my clinic open, I would find gut health and mental health would go hand in hand. It
Yep,
was very rare that I would see not one and the same with that. So we've got dysbiosis, you've got chaos happening down there, bacterial overgrowth. Quite often you can look in someone's mouth and see the coating on their tongue because the bacteria extend all the way from, well, they're all over our body, but the ones inside our digestive system, you can see them in the mouth. You can see the thick coating on the tongue, bad breath. Humans don't actually make the smells. It's the bacteria, and they love specific foods. So if you have body odor, as my children say, doing teeny tiny little farts,
yeah,
the bacteria
yep,
do farts in our body, Nat.
yep. They
Yeah,
do.
it's a bit
Yeah,
gross, isn't it?
I know. And the amount of people that do fart a lot, and they think it's normal, and I'm sitting there going, "You've got some gut issues," and they're like, "Well, no, everyone farts." I'm
Especially
like,
when it stinks.
exactly, exactly. But we always talk about our body is giving us signals all the time. So if you do have really quite rank BO or you're farting all the time, then that's your body giving you the message that, hey, my gut's
Signal.
not really coping well here.
So we're going to talk about some foods that can help to balance out the bacteria going on down there, things that we can throw in there as well. And I know for myself, when I'm on holidays and I'm just eating a lot of sugar, maybe alcohol, I went on a cruise, had a lot of alcohol, a lot of sugar. I felt so by the end of it that I was second guessing in my life, what I was doing, who I
Mm.
was. Everyone hated me. Why,
Oh,
woe is me. And as soon as you change your diet and I stopped drinking alcohol and I started putting nourishing things back in again, I
yeah,
started feeling myself. So
yeah,
these little critters that live inside us can give us some really mixed messages about
yeah.
ourselves, which is not what we want, right?
No. Yeah.
Perimenopause causes fluctuations with estrogen. And I know for me, I have to be really careful what I put in my body a week out before I get my period because my estrogen's really low, which means your serotonin's really low. And serotonin is important for digestion. And I think
Yeah.
people don't realize that.
No,
So
they don't.
again, you're more sensitive to foods, sensitive to the histamines in foods, and that
Yes.
can lead to stress and anxiety, even more so than usual. So,
Yeah.
so let's now go into the actual calming food framework, a little bit more in depth into that because people are like, okay, I get it. I've got to eat a little bit better to feel better.
Yeah. Well, what do I
It's not
eat?
just, yeah, like what? What do we eat? Like, there's
What do
so
we
many
eat?
different diets out there. Please stop following random diets. That's the first
Yes.
bit of advice I will give you all. But
Absolutely.
I find there's sort of a framework that nearly all of them sort of touch base on, and it's the number one thing that everyone seems to be focused on. I think people are a little too focused on this, to be honest, because it's everywhere. Is the proteins. It's everything's being marketed as proteins in the shops, and while
Yeah,
they're
it's the
good, you want to make
buzzword
sure
of the day.
it is the buzzword, but it's not
Yeah.
the be all and end all. It's one of the things that we need. And the reason that I throw protein in my diet regularly with nearly every meal, well, I'm going to say with every meal, I throw a bit of protein in, is to stop the blood sugar chaos, Nat. If I don't regulate my blood sugars, it's chaos for me. And you're not just getting this. So when you're eating the protein, you're slowing down the sugars that are going into your bloodstream. You're not just getting that from protein. When they break down in our guts, you're getting the amino acids that make things like serotonin, dopamine, GABA. These things are going to make you feel amazing. And if
Yep.
you're not getting enough protein in per day, it's different amount for everyone. I mean, I'm not into dietetics. I'm all about listening to your body. I often say with protein, I say a palm of protein on a plate, like a palm full of
Yep.
protein, depending
Yep.
on what protein source it is. But that's often I'm a go-to of visuals rather than numbers. I don't believe humans are
Yeah.
calculators, to be honest.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean the recommended dose of protein
Uh-huh.
per meal for a female is 20 to 30 grams. But, what does that look like? Exactly. So I
Yeah.
do the same.
And even like if you've got kids and you're listening, I tend to one of my kids is quite overstimulated with life. I'll throw protein rich foods in. I
Yeah.
don't do protein powders for children. I don't think that's
No,
great. But I
no,
do throw in the Greek yogurt. We do, he loves meat. So I often
yeah,
have meat ready to go. Some shredded chicken. He loves making himself chicken sandwiches or a tuna. He's a big fan of the tuna sandwiches. There's just so
yeah.
many things that ways you can get it. What are your favorite nervous system proteins, Nat? Like what are your go-to? Another one for me, which I have in the house, is boiled eggs. We have a lot of boiled eggs in the
Yeah,
house.
boiled eggs. Look, honestly, eggs are a little powerhouse. They're just full of so many minerals and vitamins. They're just amazing. So yeah, my go-to is eggs. And it's got cholesterol in it, which we need for our hormone production. They're literally the backbone of our hormones. It's been so demonized. It is slowly changing, but
Mm.
yes, cholesterol has been
Was it
demonized.
80% of cholesterol is actually made in your liver and not from food?
Yes,
And
yep,
20% from food. But this
yep,
is the kicker that I learned is that to break down cholesterol to turn into these wonderful hormones, you need zinc. And a lot of people
yes,
are zinc deficient because they're using it all up because they're stressed. And so their
exactly.
cholesterol levels are climbing because they don't have this key nutrient to break it down into a hormone that it needs. I love eggs because you can boil them and they're like a perfect little snack that you can take anywhere. But I
Yep,
also do quite often, I will marinate a heap of chicken and
yep,
I always have chicken I get free range chicken.
yes,
And I have that in the fridge because my
yep.
children and my hubby and I like chicken. And turkey. I'm not huge
I
on
was
turkey,
su-
but
I was going to
sometimes.
say turkey. That's one thing. When I was really anxious, I started
Mhm.
focusing on turkey. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of it at first, but I found ways
Mm.
to cook it
Yeah.
and eat it. It is very rich in tryptophan. Yeah.
So I often would do like a turkey mince and have that ready to go.
Yes.
Greek yogurt, as you mentioned, that's a
Yep.
great one. Don't worry about the fat in it. The fat's not going to make you fat, ladies.
No,
You'll be fine. And I've actually been buying, you know what I've been buying? I've been buying the big tins of wild salmon and I it's got the bones and that in, which you can eat.
Yes.
But I
Yeah, that's
blend it
good
up
for
with,
calcium.
yeah, exactly, calcium. I blend it up with sweet potato and make sweet potato and salmon fish cakes, and they're really yummy
Yes.
with a little bit of parmesan. And I started buying tins of sardines and that because, when you look at the charts of what's really great for you, sardines is right at the top.
I
And I'm
know
like,
it
how am
really
I going
is.
to get these into my
I
body
know.
when I don't love them? So I add them into like pasta sauces and blend them up.
Yes.
And yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
getting them in. Do you eat red meat, Nat?
I do. I don't have a lot of red meat, but I feel better for having red meat. Like a
Yeah.
number of years ago, I did, especially when I was studying, but I still had the anxiety. I was playing around with different ways to eat, as I think we all do when we're doing this degree. And I did cut out all meat, and I tanked. I really
Mm.
didn't do. Whereas other people feel better for not having animal protein and
Yeah,
more
each to your own, people.
each your own.
Discover your
Exactly.
body.
That's intuitive eating. But I do have quite a bit of tofu as well, organic tofu,
Oh, you
which is
eat
a lovely
tofu, yeah.
source. Yeah, and
Yep.
it's also great. Like I'm in menopause. I'm 56, and I haven't had any menopausal symptoms. And I'd say that's because I do eat a lot of phytoestrogens. So,
Mm.
yeah, just as an aside, but yeah, tofu is a really lovely one. Having all your
Some
legumes, your
people are really
chickpea.
afraid of I was going to say, I've met a lot of people who are really afraid of soy-based things like tempeh and tofu and even
Yes,
edamame. But I find if you get like the organic, because it can be, a lot of it in America particularly is genetically modified.
Yeah, GMO.
So I
Yes.
tend to go for the organic ones when
Yeah,
I do buy
absolutely.
those.
Organic. Legumes are also a good source of protein. But one
Yeah.
really great thing is chia seeds.
Oh,
Is a
cheese. I love
complete.
cheese. Cheese.
No, chia
Oh,
seeds.
it's cheese.
I know cheese. But chia seeds is a lovely complete protein.
Chia seeds. I do chia puddings. Going
Yes.
back to the red meat, we eat a fair bit of red meat in this house, and it's only because my hubby went from vegan to a carnivore diet, and he's done a lot of research into quality meats, and red meats were right up the top for getting a lot
Yes.
of those iron and zinc and all those things in.
Yes.
Yeah, so we get grass fed though, and I gotta
Yes.
tell you, it's not cheap to eat that way. But if you're eating smaller amounts and not huge servings, like my husband used to, you're going to get that quality meat into the diet.
Absolutely.
Um,
And if you want bang for your buck, because yeah, red meat isn't cheap, get kangaroo meat.
we used
The
to do kangaroo
best
sausages. I don't
sauce.
know. I just
Yeah.
can't. It's gamey for me. I read an
Yeah.
interesting book called The Ethical Carnivore, and she wanted to eat, she was a vegetarian or vegan, and she wanted to eat meat ethically. And
Yeah.
so she was eating roadkill. She was eating oysters because they were a pest. She said that in Australia, we should be eating more kangaroo. We should be eating our native animals that are pests to
Yeah.
save on things, and we should be eating the whole animal, so we've become quite precious in what we're eating. I'm
Yeah.
coming off track here, but she was saying that we just eat the chicken breast and the thigh. What about all the rest of it, like the organs and this and
Yeah.
that? And we're not eating those things. I remember when I was
No.
little, you used to see all the chicken hearts and all that in the
Yes,
big supermarkets, but they don't put them out. All the Vietnamese and those cultures still eat all the organ meats and that, but we're very
they do.
precious.
We are. We are. And
Yeah.
if you don't like the taste of, like, I'm not a fan of organ meats, to be
No, me
honest.
neither.
Take it in
Yeah.
capsule form.
Yeah. So a protein rich breakfast early in the day, it's going to help
Yes.
stabilize your glucose levels for about 4 to 6 hours. So throw in your eggs, throw in your chia pudding. If you do have protein powders, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that. I try and
No.
eat protein as nature saw it. I remember I when I went away with the Dr. Libby thing, someone was asking about protein powders and she kind of screwed her nose up a little bit. She was saying it's not a natural way to get protein in the body, and it can
No.
cause gut issues if you're doing it all the time. So if you do
Yes.
take protein powder, that's okay, but being mindful that getting your protein from whole foods as well is important. But it
Yeah.
stabilizes, protein helps to stabilize those glucose levels for up to six
Yeah.
hours. So
Yeah.
you should be starving, hungry, and tired an hour after you eat because you're
Yeah.
obviously not nourishing your body properly. What are your thoughts on like collagen and like gelatin powders and things like that?
Yeah. Look,
A
they
lot of
can be
people are
lovely.
having them lately.
Yes, as long as it's a clean source, organic,
Yeah.
clean. Check and check the ingredients because a lot of them do have hidden sugars and those
Mm.
hydrolyzed like gums and stuff, which are really bad for our gut. They destroy
Yeah,
our
I've
gut
seen the
lining.
Nutra do a like a
But
gelatin
yes,
powder that you can get, which is really good.
yes, yeah, the
You
Organics
can
is
have those
is
things to
really
smoothies,
lovely.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
and look, and I've
mixed
had
reviews
some.
on that.
Yes, look, and I've had some women, especially some of my older patients. I put them onto a really lovely collagen powder that's clean,
Mm,
and their mood stabilizers, and their skin is glowing. I've had patients come back and say,
oh,
"Oh
I
my
love
gosh, everyone's
that.
making a comment about how good my
Their
skin looks,"
skin.
and they feel
Oh, maybe I need
energized.
to get
So,
some. I was just going to say, some people are probably sad that we've poo-pooed on protein because it's a really good way to get, like a really quick way to get protein in. If it's working for you, by all means, but making sure you're getting, like Nat was saying before, something really clean, not with weird stuff in it, as
yeah,
nature would have it, whether it's whey protein or whether it's pea protein, however you're getting in. But listening to your body when you take it. Are you feeling bloated? Are you feeling tired? Are you breaking out? Because it's your body talking to you constantly.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
all right, let's move on to the healthy fats because we're going to be here
Yes.
forever otherwise. Omega 3s, DHA, EPA, all the things without going too technical.
Yeah.
These are really anti inflammatory for your body, for your brain.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to help with the nervous system. So, all that neurotransmitter signaling through your body, these chemical reactions, because you're basically one big biochemistry chemical reaction. And if you're allowing those sort of chains in your body where they pass messages around to be really healthy and functioning well without inflammation, those systems are going to work much better, and you're going to find your mood improving.
Yep.
Irritability. I mean, if you're a mom, it's nothing worse than having irritable kids when you're feeling irritable yourself. And it
Yes.
can come down from the types of foods we're putting in. Do you want to say any more on the healthy fats for brains? Because you are a brain specialist, Nat.
Yes. Actually, extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed, is one of the best things that we can put into our body. I remember my final year of uni, I did a large assignment on extra virgin olive oil and the effects that it has on the brain, because the
Yeah.
brain is something that I am passionate about. This was back in about 2018, and there was some studies coming out because that really scientists were looking at, the Mediterranean diet has so many health benefits. So scientists decided, okay, let's break it down and see what is good for what. And so they were doing a big deep dive into extra virgin olive oil, up to 4 tablespoons a day. Especially if
Wow.
you're noticing that you've got anxiety or brain fog. I literally prescribe that to my patients. Cold pressed extra virgin olive oil. Make sure it's in a glass bottle, not plastic bottle, and that it's
Mm.
a dark color. So like that dark brown or dark
And a
green color.
trusted brand. I know there were some brands out there that were really cheap, and they actually tested them, and they were half vegetable oil, half olive oil, but they were
Yes.
marketed as olive oil. So
Yeah.
I often get is it the King Island one, the red
Yes.
Australian one in the red? I get
Yeah.
that one, or the Colbram
Yeah.
Estate one. I get that
Cobram
one.
Estate is always
Yeah,
good, and it's
yeah.
available everywhere.
What about, I think we might split this episode into two. So we'll do fats, but then we'll
Yes.
come back and we'll talk about carbs and more. So if you're listening, stick with us for fats. I mean, we mentioned chia seeds before. That's a great one to get fats in. I do chia puddings a lot. I
Yeah.
add chia seeds to my smoothies. Some people don't really love the texture, but you can ground it up and it's fine.
Yes.
What about like linseeds? I find sometimes you can make like an
Yeah.
LSA mix, linseed, sunflower, and almond, and you can
Yes.
sort of,
But one thing I wanted to say was don't buy the LSA mixes. because
Make your
especially
own.
linseeds, they oxidize really quickly. So buy
Make
them
your own.
whole. And I've done this for years and I recommend it to all my patients.
Mm.
Blend up only like a week's worth. So
Put it in the
crush it all
freezer.
up and then store it in an airtight container in the fridge because it does oxidize
I
really
used to
quick.
store a lot of my nuts in the fridge and the freezer because I they go
Yes,
rancid pretty quickly, and I would
they
buy them
really
in
do.
bulk to save cost. And yeah, I'd
Yes.
be like, oh
But
man, these are
yeah, make
yeah,
your
not
own
so great.
LSA sort of mix. Make up your own mixes from the
Yeah,
whole.
and sprinkle it
Yeah.
on your breakfast.
Sprinkling on eggs or avocado, because I often have avocado with my like with
Ah,
a
so like a
scrambled eggs and
dukkha
stuff.
kind of mix.
Yeah, no, or just
Yeah.
simple sesame seeds. Great source of calcium.
Like a yeah, so I didn't even think of that, like adding tahini into if you're making like
Yep.
a hummus, putting tahini in there,
Yeah.
which
Tahini
is
is
ground
everything.
up sesame seeds.
Yes.
Salmon is great. So getting those fatty fishes in, like salmon, sardines, which I mentioned before, and even like mackerel, and you can
Yep.
actually buy the frozen packs of them. But
Mm,
again, making sure you try to get wild caught because the farmed ones they inject them with antibiotics to stop them from getting sick. And they're probably
yep.
just not as they're quite inflammatory in the long
Yes.
run. Um,
Yeah.
but tinned, I get wild tinned stuff, which is great because it doesn't go off. Because sometimes you buy a fresh fish and you got to kind of cook it, and there's that anxiety of
Yeah.
oh my god, I've got to cook the fish.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also don't forget our nuts. People are so
Yes,
scared because of the fat
I love
content.
walnuts.
I was just about to say, like nature literally gives us an indicator of what food is good for what organ in the body. A walnut literally looks like a brain. It is perfect
Yes.
little powerhouse for our brain.
How many
So
nuts though? I was going to
sorry.
say a lot of people eat like they go, oh, nuts are good for me and fats aren't going to make me fat. And so they will have a bowl of nuts at their desk and just
Yeah,
eat
no,
nuts all day
moderation. I
long.
was about to say, no, have a handful of nuts. Another great one is Brazil nuts. Now, they are
Yeah.
a lot of people with anxiety can often have some thyroid issues going on as well,
Yes.
or at least with adrenals. Two Brazil nuts a day is your requirement of selenium.
I
Yeah,
often say, so I say a palm of protein, a thumb of fats, like if you're pouring like olive oil or something, a
yeah,
thumb size. And then even like a thumb size full of seeds, sprinkle in your meal. And there's just so many ways. And you can even throw whole nuts into your smoothie, really.
absolutely. Or
Yeah.
having them as a snack, making your own trail
Mm.
mix,
Yeah. Or even like
throwing
making
in
bliss
some,
balls and that
yeah,
in moderation. Again, like if you
yeah.
have liver issues like me, and you struggle to break down fats, like some people go on these keto diets and they're having like whole sticks of butter and bacon and and
Mm-mm.
I just think you're fat, and all of a sudden they get their gallbladder taken out, Nat.
Yeah,
And I wonder, is it because their liver's struggling to keep up with breaking down the fats and making all this
yep,
bile?
yeah,
Interesting, because your
yeah,
gallbladder holds on to all that bile the liver makes to use it. Um,
yes.
Avocado is a big one, and avocado is really high in
Yeah,
magnesium. These seeds and nuts and all these fatty foods are really high in minerals that we need for mental health as well.
yeah, rich in
So
magnesium.
if you're not getting them in, oh my goodness.
Mm.
Um, Now we're going to sort of touch base. We might actually touch base on carbohydrates because I also wanted to give people some tips and tricks. So what we might do is we might just leave it there and we'll come back in the next episode. If you want to jump into the next episode, come and join us.
Yes. See you soon.
Thanks for joining us on the Anxiety Compass. If you love this episode, share it with a friend who needs a little laugh and a lot of calm. We'll see you in the next one. Keep following your true north. Disclaimer time. Sammy and Natalie may be clinical nutritionists, but we're not your personal doctors. What you hear is for learning and laughing, not diagnosing or prescribing. If things feel bigger than you, call your doctor or local support line or reach out to a qualified health professional. They've got your back too.